Hi, I'm Sheree Murphy. Today I'm here to talk about the importance of iron, the often forgotten mineral. Whatever age you are, it's really important to have iron in your diet, but even more so for toddlers. In a recent survey done by the Big Iron Count, it revealed 8 out of 10 toddlers were not meeting their recommended daily intake of iron. Now, as a mother of 3, I totally understand how hard it is to ensure you're doing the right thing. I'm joined by nutritionist Fiona Wilcock. Now, Fiona, I can't wait to pick your brain about my own toddlers' eating habits. But first, let's talk about iron and the importance of iron in a toddler's diet.
Well, in fact, iron is important for us all, not just for toddlers. But for toddlers in particular, they're going through a critical phase of growth and development, and so it's important for them, particularly for brain development. But we know for all of us, iron is a really important part of a varied, balanced diet.
And what are the common misconceptions that parents make about iron and iron-rich foods?
Well, I think parents don't know terribly much about iron. Certainly the surveys that we've carried out seem to indicate that it's a bit of a Cinderella sort of nutrient. And so we do know that it's actually very difficult for toddlers to get sufficient iron in their diet. They've only got tiny tummies, so they need foods that contain a lot of iron in them. So red meat is probably the best source of easily absorbed iron. But obviously if you're bringing up your child as a vegetarian, other sources might be baked beans, they might be lentils, they might be tofu. Green vegetables do contain some iron. So for example, this amount of broccoli here supplies only half of what a toddler would need in a day. So it just shows you how difficult it is to get sufficient iron in the diet.
Well, now I understand the importance of iron in a toddler's diet. Let's talk to some mums and find out the problems they're facing feeding their toddlers and see if we can help them. Hi Ruth, thanks for joining us. Now I hear little Alex absolutely loves his milk. So how much is he drinking?
He has 8 ounces 4 times a day at the moment. So first thing in the morning, last thing at night, and then 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon.
Right, okay. Have you tried cutting back on the amount of milk that he has?
Well, he just still seems to really love it and drink it all. So I think, I thought I'd kind of let him lead as to when he wanted to drop his milk, really.
Right. Fiona, what would you suggest here?
Well, we know that babies that are having a lot of milk actually tend to sort of get rather full of milk and not be able to eat other foods in the diet that give them different nutrients, and we're particularly concerned about iron in the diet. And we know that if babies are having a lot of milk, particularly cow's milk, which isn't a good source of iron, it can displace those other foods, those iron-rich foods, which they need for their development.
What type of food is Alex eating?
Well, he's having some porridge with some banana in first thing, and he'll eat a bit of that. I have been struggling a bit with lunch and tea. I've been giving him mushed vegetables that I've made, pureed vegetables and things. But I mean, he hasn't been taking to it that well, so perhaps it is because of his milk intake.
It could well be. My recommendation would be to cut down the 2 milk feeds during the day.
Right.
And perhaps give him water, with a meal, or if he's having some food, some diluted orange juice such as this would be fine, and that will help also with the iron absorption from some of the foods that he needs.
Right, okay.
How much milk should a 10-month-old baby be having a day?
10-month-old baby like Alex should be having about a pint of milk a day. By the time he's 1 year, she can obviously move on to cow's milk if she chooses to. But obviously we know that dairy products, including cow's milk, they don't contain very much iron at all. So if she's uncertain about iron in the diet, she may choose to use a growing up milk, which is iron fortified instead. When you're going through those first few months of weaning, it's really important to start to introduce lots of different variety into their diets, because we know from lots of studies that babies that have lots of different sorts of foods introduced early on are less likely to be picky later on. And also introducing great variety will give lots of different nutrients. So, for some of the iron-rich foods, obviously sardines, meat here, there's a bolognese sauce here. Those are animal sources of iron, which are great to start to introduce. You just obviously need to get the right texture for the age of the child. And certainly after the age of 1 year, although you may choose to have cow's milk, if you're using a formula milk such as the grown-up milk, then obviously you do have an insurance policy of making sure that there are other vitamins and minerals provided, particularly iron, because we know that lots of toddlers aren't getting enough iron in their diet.
Today's certainly been an eye-opener for me, and I hope you found our tips and advice helpful. But if you'd like more information or you want to check your own toddler's intake of iron, go to thebigironcount.com.